If you haven't heard already, we have got ourselves a new sponsor for the podcast. That's right, Aperio Athletics. You ever wish you could give back to the community and get some awesome gym gear at the same time? Aperio Athletics has you covered with 5% of all profits going towards the Canadian Mental Health Association. What a great initiative that is. Sign up for their rewards program and receive $5 off your next order. Use code JUNGLE10, I repeat, JUNGLE10, to get 10% off your first order. Visit the Aperio Athletics online store at aperioathletics.com to claim the benefits and rewards waiting for you. Be sure to follow them on Instagram and TikTok at Aperio_athletic to be the first to know all the latest product releases and exclusive offers. This podcast is sponsored by Aperio Athletics. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 33 of the Jungle Hockey Podcast, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Very special episode today as Joe is getting geared up and ready for Nationals with Drury. We have a special guest co-host today. I'm joined by Mr. Braden Chenier. Chenier, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm good. Happy to have you back. Obviously, you were our first ever guest.
Yeah, pumped to be here. Should be fun.
Oh, it should be good. So yeah, with Chenier, we got Chenier filling in for Joe while he pursues a national title in the ACHA. So good luck to Joey, but we got Chenier filling in this week. So anyways, buddy, like how you been? How's life after hockey? Obviously, this was a bit of an interesting season for you. You kind of just want to talk about that quick?
Yeah, it was just everything just like wasn't really working out. Like it was more like I was just super busy. Hockey just wasn't the top priority by any means. Yeah, work was getting really busy. I was starting school pretty quickly, so I just kind of wanted to focus on that. And yeah, it wasn't anything to do with actual hockey. It was just more me focusing on other things.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, it's your 20 year anyways, right? Like life gets busy, life gets in the way, but I don't know what else you've been doing. We haven't really talked in a while. I'm assuming the weather's getting better and you're getting out onto the golf course.
Yeah, I've been golfing quite a bit actually. It's this last weekend it was iffy, so I don't think I got out. But the last couple weekends I've been getting out. Golfed probably 5-6 times already this year. So pumped for a couple of months in advance. Get out some more. Gotta wait for you to get back so we can start golfing too.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely, dude. I mean, bit of a ways till I'm back still, but yeah, for sure. I'm excited. Dude, in this house, dude, like where we're staying with Cheyenne's family, we like they live on a golf course, like golf course in the backyard. But I haven't been out once because they're all there. He's like her family's all righties, so they don't have any clubs, and like you just kind of go out onto the golf course. Like you don't go to the clubhouse. Like you just hop your fence and you're on the 15th fairway.
Oh, that's sweet.
So, but I don't have any clubs, so I still got to get like a secondhand set or something on Marketplace and get practicing because it's a sick course. So,
I bet, yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
So, anyways, buddy, glad to hear you're doing good. I just need to correct a couple things from episode 31 when we did our rumors episode. So,
okay,
I'll see what your response is to some of these too. I don't know if you listened to that episode or heard some of the rumor posts, that kind of thing, but a few of the main things. So one of them was, so we talked about the 7 PJHL teams that are going tier 1 next year. That's all accurate. Mm-hmm. We also did mention that there were reports the Powell River Kings of the BCHL were going to be dropping down and joining that league. It sounds like for now, the Powell River Kings will be staying in the BCHL next year. So the BCHC looks like it will only be 7 teams next year. Heard from a couple sources that's the way that's going.
Okay.
So that was just one thing to correct. Another thing, this is a crazy one. We told a story about a physical altercation at the Board of Governors meeting between Aldo Bruno punching Rob Tour opponent. That has now been confirmed by, I thought that one might be like, nah, that didn't happen. That one has been confirmed by many sources.
That is
the fact that like, I thought that one was going to be like, get us into some trouble, or guys were going to be like, no, that's not true. I didn't hear anything about it for the first few days. And then after that, I get a few messages like guys being like, it was 100% true. Like, that's exactly what happened. So That one is absolutely nuts. I can't believe it, honestly. Like,
That's crazy.
just crazy, dude. Crazy.
What was set
Let's
to
see.
start that?
Well, Grandview got given tier 1 and Poco didn't. So I feel like Poco's owner probably had some choice words, which fair enough. I mean,
Yeah,
how
for
could you
sure.
not? Like,
For sure.
how could Poco not be pissed about that? And I think that yeah, Grandview's owner did not like that, and that was it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What else did I say? Oh, I believe I accidentally said that Okotoks was an AJHL team. Okotoks is a BCHL team. Sorry, I misworded it. I know they're a BCHL team. But the main point of what I said there is apparently they're bankrupt and either aren't going to be operating next year, or there were rumors they might join the KI, which I have no idea because the AJ won't let them back and they're losing money in the BCHL. They're bankrupt. So they're either taking a year off or going to the KI or maybe eventually both. Yeah, so I hope I didn't miss anything. There might have been more to correct from that episode, but I think those were the main couple things that I heard people say. Um, I'm really surprised that the KI is staying the way it is. I really hope that they're able to sort out a proper tier 1 system next year. But I mean, think about if you were a KI team. So like if they were to do like let's say half the KI or whatever was part of the BCHC, if you were a KI team and like the fan bases and the facilities that the average KI team has, and then you see Grandview get in over you, it's like
That'd be pretty. Yeah, that's
like, and so I understand the KI staying tier 2 and like props to them for sticking together, but I do hope that something gets sorted out where they're able to replace the BCHL and be a part of the CJHL and get to play for the Centennial Cup.
it'd be really interesting to see like how the Pidge itself is next year, like how thinned out that's going to be.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like a lot of guys, like especially the older players, are kind of going to want to stay put. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this at all, but like, can you see Marcus Jack leaving Poco?
I don't think so. No, I couldn't see
Like
that.
he was like 5th in the league in points this year. He could easily play a tier 1, but he's from Poco. He's the captain.
Yeah,
He's been there
yeah.
for 2 years. Like, you think he's going to leave?
Unless he's like
Probably not.
trying to go to like school or something, like maybe get an offer. But I think that
Yeah, fair
right.
enough.
But other like I don't really see any point in leaving.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like that's going to be the situation for a lot of guys. Another thing that I found out that is pretty crazy news. Apparently, so I thought it was kind of going to be like tier 1, basically open tryouts, like everyone's a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
Every single team, whether you're tier 1 or tier 2, the teams still retain your rights. So you have to get traded up or down.
Really? How does that work?
I don't know, but if you're like let's say you're like a good player in Abbotsford and you're staying tier 2,
Mm-hmm.
they still have to trade you up to tier 1.
So it'd be kind of similar to like players getting traded from like the SJ to the Pidge this year or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much, but it's like that gives the teams a lot of leverage over
It does.
players where they could like really screw some guys over.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I just hope it doesn't affect anyone getting the opportunity to play tier 1, you know?
Yes. Yeah. No, for sure.
Because that's a very interesting piece that I found out. I was very surprised to hear that every team retains all the players' rights for next year.
Yeah, like because they're,
Um,
I guess because it's still will the Pidge still be considered tier 2 junior A, or will
yeah,
they go? Oh,
yeah.
okay, so that's so
Next year it will. I
yes, yeah,
feel like the year after they're gonna try and go back to junior A, junior B because tier
okay,
2, junior A just sounds stupid.
it does, yeah. Hmm.
Hopefully they get that figured out. But yeah, just one more very interesting thing I want to throw in there. But
Yeah.
we have not talked, and we've been so busy. We have not really got to talk any NHL on this podcast in a long time.
Okay.
So we will get into recapping the junior leagues as well because more has happened since our last episode. We're recording this, by the way, for I guess you, it's March 11th. For me, it's March 12th.
Yeah.
So this episode's
that's
probably
so
not going to
trippy.
be out. I know. I'm 21 hours ahead of you. How weird is that?
That is weird.
So
Yeah.
weird. It's like I'm 3 hours behind, but I'm a full day ahead.
Yeah, that's tough to grasp.
Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, this episode probably won't be out until so Tuesday night, probably not for a week.
Okay.
So This might be, I mean, as far as the NHL stuff, it's not going to be like out of date. It'll be fine. But as far as like the junior stuff, it's going to be a little bit behind.
Yeah, they'll be most of the rounds they're in will probably be basically over,
Yeah, well, I
right?
mean, the
Yeah,
Pidge, I mean, the second round is pretty much over.
yeah.
I should probably check the scores tonight.
They're. I've got that up right now. I forgot about that. It's four
Both
two
teams are, oh,
Ridge.
Delta 4-2 Ridge. So yeah, so like it looks like Ridge is going to finish the sweep
Mm-hmm.
tonight. And Delta's beating Richmond 2-0 as well. So, I mean, both those series look pretty one-sided right now, but maybe by the end of this episode we'll have a bit more of an update there.
Mm-hmm. Delta's
Um,
up 2-0 right now, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And then I know the VI's first round is starting today as well. Or sorry, second round is starting today, I believe. I don't think there's been any, hasn't been
Okay.
any other games. So that's just starting right now.
Okay.
And then the KI think will start this weekend. So in about 3 days, I think that will
Okay.
start back up.
Okay.
As for the VI, Peninsula is up 2-1 on Carey Park at the end of the first, and Campbell River and Alberni are tied 0-0. So both conference finals or game ones are underway right now. As for the KI, that's not going to start for another 2 or 3 days. March 14th. I don't know if that's my time or your time, though. I'm assuming your time because it's on their website.
Yeah, I
Friday.
think so. I've got it. Yes, yeah. Fridays at 7 are the first games.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that'll be your time. So 3 days until the KI starts still. VI second round is starting right now, and the Pidge second round is almost over.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. The Pidge looks like it'll be done really early, probably compared to those other two. Like even if the finals goes to 7 games, it's gonna be done early.
That's pretty normal though,
Um,
isn't it? Like I remember in recent years, the pitch was always done super early.
no, it should. Yeah, and it should be because like the KI, like the VI season ends later, the KI season ends later, and then the also has way more teams.
Yes, yeah, they got
So
an
that makes
extra
like there's a
full
whole
round.
extra round,
Yeah.
whereas the VI has the same amount.
Okay.
But the VI season ends later, so that does make sense actually. Never mind. So, anyways, we'll give you guys an update on the Pidge and the VI at the end of this episode. But first, let's jump into the NHL news. So we haven't talked about the NHL in a long time. So we're first just going to hop into all the trades that have been made. So not going to go over every single one, but the last, like, I can't even remember the last trade we're talking about. So I'm just going to go. I think the last time we talked about a trade was the Granlund trade
Oh
to
wow.
Dallas.
Wow.
So let's say March 2nd, we'll go to Chen if you got a trade tracker pulled up or
Okay.
something.
Yep. Yeah, I'll go.
The
I can
first
get down
trade
to
that we will
March 2nd.
mention is the Colorado Avalanche acquired Ryan Lindgren, Jimmy Vesey, and Hank Kemp for Calvin DeHaan, Juuso Parssinen, a second and a fourth. The Rangers retained 50% of Ryan Lindgren's salary. Lindgren, I feel like, has always been a really underrated shutdown D-man. I know he's struggled the last year or two, but I feel like him in Colorado will probably be able to elevate his game a bit. And then, I mean, Jimmy Vesey's a good depth piece coming to Colorado as well. But overall, like not a huge trade, but I actually really like Colorado adding Lindgren there. I don't know if you have anything to say for that. It's okay if you don't.
No,
It's not a blockbuster.
I don't have much to say. It's pretty apparent that Colorado is loading up for a push here. They made it pretty
Yeah,
apparent throughout the deadline.
yeah, absolutely. So then the next one, another like just little one, Minnesota acquires Gustav Nyquist from the Nashville Predators for a second round pick. Nyquist kind of looked like his career was done a couple years ago, and then he played for Nashville last year and lit it up. He had an
Yeah,
amazing year. Slowed down
yeah,
a bit this year, but I mean, it's if Minnesota's serious about contending or making the playoffs at the very least, then I mean, it's another solid pickup for them, I guess.
yeah. Adds depth down the middle for them.
Yeah, yeah, they have him listed as a center, which I didn't really think he was,
I,
but
I, yeah,
interesting.
I that kind of threw me off as well. Maybe he's playing there and up the middle.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, Minnesota, I feel like center depth is kind of one of their weaknesses, so that would make
Yeah.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then this was a pretty big trade, but Seth
Yeah.
Jones to the Florida Panthers,
Mm-hmm.
along with a fourth round pick for Spencer Knight and a first. Blackhawks retained 26% of Jones' salary, which I think for the next 4 years they're going to be retaining that.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's a
and
9.25 contract.
mhm.
So
So they're only paying him just under 3 then, around there.
No, they're
Or sorry, they're paying.
um
Chicago's carrying just under 3.
yeah, I think like
Yes,
two and
yeah,
a two, probably 2.2
yeah.
ish.
Okay.
I don't know the exact amount, but yeah, so Florida's paying about 7.
I think that's great for both teams.
A lot of people were saying like Chicago robbery, but Seth Jones, like when he was in Columbus, he was really overrated because he played a
Yeah.
lot of minutes, but his metrics were brutal. Now in
Mhm.
Chicago, his metrics are really good. He's just not putting up the points because it's Chicago. But his
Yes,
D
yeah.
metrics have gotten way better. So I think as like a third or fourth D man for Florida, that's a great
Yeah.
ad. And like Spencer Knight, yeah, he's a good goalie prospect, but you got Bobrovsky. Like Knight's your third goalie. You don't need him right now. You're trying to win.
Yes, well,
So,
exactly.
and then
Yeah.
Chicago gets a first. Like, I feel like this was a really good trade for both teams. I completely agree with you on that.
And Spencer Knight has looked unreal in Chicago,
Yeah, his debut game was insane. Yeah.
right? Yeah. I wonder if Seth Jones will get put up to the first pairing after oh
Ekblad.
after the Ekblad incident. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess let's just mention that quick while we're on it. Aaron Ekblad suspended 20 games for breaking the what is it? He took a performance enhancing substance.
Yeah. It
He
sounds
says it was
very.
something to check his injury, but
Mhm.
you never know.
It sounds super similar to like what lots of the UFC fighters will test positive for, where it's like they claim it's tainted substances,
Yeah,
but you're making that much a
you
year. I
never
feel like
know.
you can probably keep an eye on what you're putting into your body.
Yeah, for sure. He said he just didn't check it with the team, but I mean, only a 20 game suspi, so he'll be back for game 3 of the playoffs. It could be worse than that.
Yes, yeah,
Florida's obviously a lock. And yeah, it'll
yeah,
just give
yeah,
Seth Jones more play time in the meantime. So,
yeah. Well,
um,
exactly. Yeah, they'll get him and Kachuk
yeah,
right at playoff time.
yeah, geez. That's quite the boost.
Right?
Yeah. Another decent trade here. Trent Frederick and Max Jones to the Edmonton Oilers from the Boston Bruins for Max Wanner, a second and a fourth.
Mm-hmm.
Decent depth ads for Edmonton.
Yeah.
I like Frederick a lot, but apparently he was asking for a lot more money than he's worth. So I think it's just solid asset management from Boston moving on, and Edmonton picks up more depth, which can't hurt, right?
No, not at all. They're going to need that.
And Frederick's tough too, so that's always good for Edmonton.
Yes, for sure.
And then, in my opinion, probably the best general manager in the NHL, Julian Brisebois of Tampa Bay acquires
Mm-hmm.
Oliver Bjorkstrand, Yanni Gord, and a fifth for 2 firsts, a second, and Michael Esimont. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. What do you think like this means for Tampa
I,
as
I, I,
a team this year?
I think Tampa's made it very apparent that they are making this one last push with their core. Obviously losing Stamkos, but with what they've got, I think they've got to be counting down their years here. So I think this is huge for Tampa. And then obviously
Massive.
Seattle with a couple picks. I could be wrong on this, but I've seen a lot of trades where Seattle's just been picking up picks. Like they're
Probably. I can't
right.
remember, to be completely honest, but they probably have. I mean, it's time for them to sell. Like they had that good. It was their second year in the league where they made the conference final, but
Yeah,
it's going to take time. I mean, Shane Wright is looking unreal, by the
so
way.
good.
So everyone who hated on him, he's a stud. What a fantasy pickup for me. But like, yeah, I think again, this is probably a win-win trade. And like Yanni Gord was there in Tampa when they won. Was it their first and second cup? I believe, if not at least their first cup. So like, he's familiar with that core, what's left of it at least, and like, just a guy like a perfect third liner if you're trying to win. And Bjorkstrand's a great two-way player as well. So love this trade for both teams, and that's why Brisebois is the best.
Yeah, for sure.
Not to, I mean, Dave,
could we? Yeah, that I wanted to talk about the Desharnais pick. I'm very happy about that because I've been forced to watch Desharnais play hockey for the past 2 years from going to Vancouver to Pittsburgh. So very
yeah.
happy that's gone.
So yeah, Pittsburgh acquired Desharnais in the Marcus Pettersson trade earlier on in the season.
Yes,
And they just flipped him on to San Jose for a fifth. Great trade by Pittsburgh. Thank goodness. And then another trade by Pittsburgh, which I really liked this trade. They get Tommy Novak and Luke Shen from
Yeah.
Nashville in exchange for Michael Bunting and a fourth. Bunting was great when we got him last year for Gensel, and he was just horrible this year. So
Yeah.
I'm glad they moved on from him. And like Tommy Novak, he's had some glimpses. He's obviously had a rough year this year, and I think he's a free agent. But regardless, I don't mind that trade. Like he's a guy who maybe we could re-sign and could play a decent role in the future. And then obviously Luke Shen ended up getting flipped for I think a second and a fourth. So just what a deadline for Dubas, in my opinion.
That was so good. Yeah, that was great by him.
Yeah, it was something like we have. Oh, I forget what it is. I mean, obviously, if you guys don't know, me and Chenier are both Penguins fans, so that's why we're like hyping these up. I think Pittsburgh has like, is it 15 picks in the first 3 rounds of the next 3 drafts or something like ridiculous?
I saw that table that one of the big Pittsburgh accounts posted. Something crazy like that.
Sorry, it's 30 picks in the next 3 drafts.
Okay. Wow.
Which, I mean, usually you would have, 21? So, like, 2 firsts this year, a second, and 3 thirds. Next year, we have a first, 3 seconds, and 2 thirds. And the following year, we have a first, 2 seconds, and 3 thirds again. So, like, that is so, like... You guys remember when PK Subban like was ripping Dubas earlier in the year, like pick a direction and just didn't like. What do you mean? It's pretty obvious the direction they're going. Like, look at their draft picks. Like,
hey, they just dropped off the Knights tonight, OT winner.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like we're not to be goofy, but the Pens are only 8 points out of a playoff spot. The bottoms, or sorry, the 8 seed in the East. Who knows who's gonna get it? There's like 8 teams that are within 10 points of each other. We're in 15th place. We might be able to get the playoff spot still. Like there's 16 games left.
They're like 5th worst in the league and still in contention. That's crazy.
Right? The 8 seed in the East is just so bad this year. And I think like with the results in the NHL today, like I think Philly lost, which was a team they'd be competing with. Sorry, what was it? Oh, Boston won though. Damn, that's unfortunate. But anyways, Columbus lost. Philly lost. The Islanders are losing. Montreal's slapping Vancouver though.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Pens aren't actually out of it yet. Even though like I'm on Team Tank right now, they're not out of it. They could get in.
That is a crazy logjam they got going on there. That's crazy.
Dude, it's going to be the same thing they did last year. They're going to go on a 10-game heater at the end of the year and finish 1 point out of the playoffs again and get another 14th overall pick.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at least this draft class isn't overly solid, so rather than tank next year.
True, yeah, next year. I want to tank next year, dude.
Yeah,
give me Gavin McKenna.
Right.
All right. Well, let's talk about a former Penguin, Brian Dumoulin, traded from the Anaheim Ducks to the New Jersey Devils for a second-round pick and Herman Trapp. Ducks retaining 50% of Dumoulin's salary. Good ad for the Devils. I like it. They're just getting a stronger D-core.
Yeah.
Does create it more of a logjam for their young guys, so I'm not 100% sure what they're doing there. Like Simone Nemec has been pretty vocal about like not getting to play in the NHL after being the second overall pick 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And then you also have like Seamus Casey, but regardless, it's adding good depth. That's kind of not even worth mentioning. Riley Smith traded back to the Vegas Golden Knights in exchange for Brendan Brisson and a third. I believe the Rangers are retaining 50% of Riley Smith's salary, and Smith, one of the Vegas OGs, ends up getting to go back there. So I like that for him. Happy to see him go back there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Vancouver trades Carson Soucy to the New York Rangers for a third. Soucy was great last year, but this year he was pretty rough. So I don't mind it. Making more room they're just making more room for Vancouver's future. We got the other Elias Pettersson. They'll have Willander coming in next year. Like they need to make room back there, and I think this was a smart move.
Yeah, get a third out of it.
Yeah. Minnesota, another depth forward, acquires Justin Brazeau from the Boston Bruins for Marat Kuznetsov. Oh, I butchered that, but I tried. And a 6th-round pick. I think Brazeau's probably a little, he's solid. I mean, you know what? No, he's solid. 4th liner, just going to grind away. Not sure if that's what Minnesota needs.
No.
But, not a horrible trade. I mean, Boston gets a young two-way Russian back. So, and here's a big one. Colorado Avalanche acquire Brock Nelson and William Dufour for Oliver Shillington, Callum Ritchie, a 1st, and a conditional 3rd to the New York Islanders. What do you think about this one? I want to hear your thoughts.
I like it for Colorado. I don't know how much I love it for New York. Nelson looked. I don't know if you saw the interview about him, talking about it being his last home
on the bench.
He looked pretty upset about that. So I don't know. I feel like it'd be so hard to part ways with someone like that, but obviously that's a huge addition for Colorado.
Yeah, no, I love it for Colorado, and I hate the Islanders, so I'm not choked up about it. But when you see a guy who loves the team that much and how much he's done for that team for so long, it is hard to see. So I love Brock Nelson as a player, but I hate the Islanders, so I'm glad to see them falling apart and having to sell. But at the same time, I kind of like the return. I think Callum Ritchie's a good young player, and I think a 1st round. That's 2 1st-round picks basically.
Yeah.
Interesting to see Will Dufour in this deal to Colorado. Chen, I don't know if you remember him. I think he had about 120 points in the queue a few years back.
Really?
And then in the AHL, in his first year, he was point per game as a 20-year-old in the AHL, and it was holy shit, this guy's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Then in his second year, he had 30 points in the AHL, and then this year he has 20 points in the AHL. So he's just been going downhill. I don't know what happened, if that's something going on with him personally, or if it's just Bridgeport. The Bridgeport Islanders development system is just brutal, but I guess Colorado thinks it might be worth the reclamation project. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird one there. I was really surprised to see what happened to him in his career.
Yeah, I haven't followed that too much, but that's super interesting. Maybe just new beginnings over in Colorado for him.
Yeah, might as well, right? And then New York, Oliver Shillington was acquired in that deal. They immediately flipped him to Anaheim for future considerations. So got traded a couple times, but hopefully he finds some hopefully he's able to play in Anaheim. He gets some time in the lineup.
I would hope so.
Love this trade. Love this trade for both teams. The Edmonton Oilers acquired Jake Wallman for Carl Berglund and a 1st.
Yeah.
I think Jake Wallman is one of the most underrated defensemen in the NHL. He's an absolute stud. He's been having a great year in San Jose. And San Jose gets a 1st-round pick for a guy that I think Stevie Y gave them a 2nd to take Wallman last year.
Huh.
To get rid of him, because Steve Yzerman has no idea what he's doing as a GM. Horrible GM. I've been very vocal about that. So San Jose basically turned Jake Wallman into a 1st and a 2nd without having to give up anything. So
that's crazy.
Props to Mike Greer, San Jose's GM. What a trade. But I mean, also a huge ad for Edmonton. They pick up a top 4 D-man. I think it's great.
Yeah. Someone that'll add physicality to their lineup, which they very much lack.
Yeah, absolutely. And he crushed Rantanen, or was it Rantanen? Who did he crush?
It was Rantanen. No, it was Rantanen.
Yeah, crushed him.
There was a couple times Rantanen got crushed in that game.
Yeah, Max Jones was the other one, the guy Edmonton got from Boston with Frederick in that trade. So they were both throwing the ball around. Edmonton got a little more physical.
Yeah.
Talk about how good Kyle Dubas did at the deadline. Another fleece on his part. Trades Anthony Beauvillier for a 2nd-round pick. A year ago to that day, Anthony Beauvillier got traded for a 5th-round pick, and he did not have a good year in Pittsburgh. So
no,
I don't know how Washington gave us a 2nd for him, but just Kyle Dubas, round of applause. What a deadline.
Yeah, he had a great deadline.
Yeah. This trade made me a little sad. Our boy Kuzi. Yeah. God, I miss him. Since Vancouver traded Andrei Kuzmenko, that was the beginning of the end. That was the beginning of Pettersson's struggles. That was the beginning. Lindholm was shit. That was a terrible trade. That was the beginning of the end for the Vancouver Canucks. Anyways, Andrei Kuzmenko traded to the LA Kings for a 3rd-round pick, and Philly retained 50%. Dude,
Yeah.
like, how do you score? The guy scored 40 goals in his
I
rookie.
know.
Well, not really rookie, but his first year, and now, like, yeah, man.
He's getting passed around.
Yeah, it's a weird one for me.
Mhm.
But I mean, I like to see LA. LA is a bit of a sneaky team, so I like to see them adding at the deadline.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I guess Philly. I mean, can you imagine if Kuzmenko's not going to last playing for Talkit? You think he's going to last playing for Torts?
No, that was
So
you could see that coming. You could see that coming from a
yeah,
mile away.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. I would say this was definitely one of the more surprising trades of the day. I remember you texted me saying that you loved this one for Ottawa, and he has been great for Ottawa so far.
Yeah.
The Senators acquired Dylan Cousins, Dennis Gilbert, and a 2nd-round pick in
Yes.
exchange for Josh Norris, who was on like an 8x8 and has played like 40 games since, and Jacob Bernard Docker, who's kind of a bust. Like, not terrible, but he's kind of a bust defenseman.
Yes.
Still young, but yeah, break this one down a little bit.
I just think this puts Ottawa over the hump. I need to see some Ottawa playoff hockey.
I love that. I agree.
I think they're gonna be an issue. Like right now, they'll be playing Florida, right? If the season were to end today, they'd be playing Florida. I think so.
That sounds right.
Which obviously isn't ideal, but yeah,
the Kachucks going at it.
Well, exactly.
Playoffs.
I don't think they'll be like. I think they'll go at it. Like I don't think they'll be acting.
They'll have to
brotherly. Like they are. Yeah.
No, fuck no, dude.
No,
They'll go at it.
I
think their mom said they're not allowed to fight. They might have to break that.
They might have to. Like I could see that. I don't like
Ottawa,
that for Matthew.
And you were right. Yeah, no, Matthew would get his ass beat.
Brady steamrolls him.
Yeah, no, Brady's much tougher. Brady's a big boy, but yeah, no, dude, they'll just leave it. They'll just let Sam Bennett keep fighting Brady like they did in the Four Nations, and Matthew will let someone else.
Exactly. And then I'm just confused with what Buffalo's doing, but that's like,
yeah, I mean, Josh Norris is a good player,
he's
and
great,
I guess they just thought Cousins needed a fresh start.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Dylan Cousins is so much better than his stats have shown this year. I think he's good. I think he's better than people realize in his own end as well.
Mm-hmm.
I love this trade for Ottawa, and I think Dylan Cousins is going to go back to being around a point per game player in the NHL in his tenure in Ottawa for the rest of this year and hopefully for next year as well. I think he's a stud.
Is he a free agent at the end of the season?
No, dude. Cousins signed. They locked him up to like a 7x7 last year, year before. And then just moved on. I think the year before. Yeah, 7x7.1, and he's in year 2 of it.
That's going to be a steal of a deal in a couple of years, I think.
Yeah, like with the cap going up, for sure, dude. I love that for that. I thought Buffalo did such a great job when they signed into that, and they just it's like guys in places like Buffalo, like when the team doesn't end up developing, they just kind of slow down. Like it's like they start losing hope or something. So I think he's got a new life in Ottawa, and yeah, I love that trade. We already talked about Luke Shen. Pittsburgh flipped him to Winnipeg for a 2nd and a 4th.
It might not feel like it, but spring is right around the corner. Know how you can tell? Golfers are hitting the links, and we have some tournaments to talk about. And if you want to do more than just talk, put your money where your mouth is. Get in on all the tee to green action with DraftKings Sportsbook. From Thursday's opening round through the closing round Sunday, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with tournament props, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. If you've never bet on golf before, it's easier than you think. Just pick something simple, like a golfer to win the tourney, and make your pick. It's that easy. Some of the odds I'm seeing here on DraftKings, we have Michael Kim at plus 900 to win, Ricky Fowler at plus 1400 to win, or if you really want to go with the gamble, Jordan Spieth at plus 6,000 to win. Those are just a couple of the ones that stood out to me. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. This podcast is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
Here's one I loved for Winnipeg, Brandon Tanev for a second-round pick. So there's another one of Seattle collecting a high draft pick. So good job by them too. I believe Tanev started his career in Winnipeg as well.
I think he did. Yeah.
I think he did before he came to Pittsburgh.
I think he did. I'm pretty sure. That sounds right.
Yeah, so I mean, I really like that for Winnipeg. Obviously, Winnipeg's shown this year that they are an absolute wagon, a true contender.
Yes.
Yeah, so that'll be. I like it for them. Yeah, not much else to say.
Yeah.
Toronto acquires Scott Lawton for Nikita Grebenkin and a first. Philly retains 50% of Lawton's salary. I like Scott Lawton a lot. I think he's a great player. I think he's a guy you want on your team to win. With that being said, I think Toronto might have given up a bit much here.
I don't think they needed to give away that first. That was a little bit extra.
Yeah, like I don't know, maybe a second and a fourth. I just don't think that Scott Lawton is worth that much. I hope, like, honestly, I kind of want to see the Leafs do a bit better.
Yeah. I don't.
Like, they have so many. Fair enough. I don't hate the Leafs. I kind of I don't know. So I don't hate it for them. And I like at the end of the day, they're trying to win, but I think they gave up a lot.
That's a lot. That's definitely a lot.
Now on to by far the biggest trade of the deadline, and this one you know how heated I probably was at this. First of all, can I just say a lot of people shitting on Carolina for this. When Rantanen got to Carolina, he said, "I'm playing for 4 teams and you're not one of them." What the fuck are they supposed to do, man? Like, So I think based on that situation, they did an excellent job at the return they got in this trade. They got a haul. So the Dallas Stars acquire Mikko Rantanen. The Carolina Hurricanes acquire Logan Stankoven, the best 03 born player from BC my entire life. What a stud. Steal for Carolina. If that was 1-for-1, I'd say Carolina wins. I don't give a shit. Not actually. Stank is going to be a star. His finishing has just been struggling this year, but he'll get there. 2 first-round picks, 2 third-round picks. So I think that's a robbery for Carolina.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dallas. I think Dallas might have the best top 9 in the cap era right now.
Right? It's crazy.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah, they need to win, or this was all for nothing. They do not have much of a future brewing.
No, but they have prospect. Dude, they got like Wyatt Johnson's young. They just signed him to like a 7x5. They got Maverick Bork. Like they're still, they still have good young players. It's annoying, but
well,
like after trading Stank, like I wish the worst upon them.
Well, if you look at it, like the Carolina got basically they traded Natchez for Stankoven 2 firsts and 2 thirds. If you look at it that way, I feel like it looks a lot better too.
Yeah. Luke Kunin is traded from the San Jose Sharks to the Columbus Blue Jackets. I guess Columbus is going for the playoffs and they pick up a depth piece. I don't hate that.
Right.
Yeah, not a bad ad. I hope Columbus makes the playoffs. Really rooting for that, obviously, after the year they've had. The Colorado Avalanche acquire Charlie Coyle and a 5th for Casey Middlestat, Will Zellers, who is like the best player in the USHL, and a 2nd-round pick. So I actually think Boston did a really good job here. I think Colorado overpaid for Coyle, but at the same time, like you're trying to win the cup, you give up those assets for what you need.
Yeah. When I saw that trade, I read Charlie and I thought for about 5 seconds I thought that Colorado had gotten Charlie McAvoy and thought the season was over.
Could you imagine McAvoy and Makar
Right.
on different pairs. Like, oh, they'd be unstoppable.
Right.
Unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I don't hate it for Colorado, but I think they gave up a lot.
They did, yes.
Chicago acquires Joe Veleno for Peter Mrazek and Craig Smith. I mean, I like it for Chicago, I guess. I think Veleno's worth more than both of those guys. I guess Detroit picks up another mid goalie after trading VIJHL the other day. Like, I don't really know what to say. There's not much of an analysis for this one. It's a weird one.
No, yeah. It's a weird one for sure.
Just some more like asset management by Pittsburgh. We trade Cody Glass and John Gruden to the New Jersey Devils for a 3rd round pick, Max Graham, who I believe is the captain of the Kelowna Rockets. I think he's the captain of Kelowna, but I feel like he got hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, Max Graham's the captain of Kelowna. Tough guy, by the way. He's a nail gun. I think he's from Prince George. Oh, no, he's from Whitehorse. Dude.
Jeez. I played against him in minor midget.
Yeah, you would have. He was on the Rockets, yeah. Yeah, 61 points in 31 games that year for the Rockets. And he started his dub career in Everett. That's why you thought that, but he's in Kelowna. Okay. He's Kelowna's captain, but I think in the 34th game of the year, he had a season-ending, like junior career-ending injury. So that's sad to see, but guy who maybe could be a 3rd or 4th liner for Pittsburgh in the future.
For sure, yeah.
And then Pittsburgh also acquires Chase Stillman, who I want to say was a 1st-round pick. He was a 1st-round pick. But he's been struggling big time. Like he had 9 points in 45 games in the AHL this year. So since his junior career, I mean, just looking at his junior stats, he looks like he was drafted way higher than he should have been in the first place. And he just hasn't really developed. But I mean, that's, I guess, another a 3rd round pick for Pittsburgh in a reclamation project. I don't hate it.
Yeah,
like it's another solid move. And then
no, exactly.
I think. As big as the Rantanen deal was, maybe the most shocking trade of the deadline, Brad Marchand to the Florida Panthers of all teams for a
This is my favorite trade. This is my favorite.
Him and Bennett, after the Bennett elbow to the head last year, they play together in 4 nations, and now this. Bennett, Marchand, and Kachuk.
That is good. I
can't fucking wait for the playoffs, dude.
Even if a team beats Florida, like they're walking out of that series broken.
Yeah, they're going to be dying.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, there's not much else to say. I can't believe Boston wasn't willing to meet his number. Marchand obviously wanted to stay in Boston.
Yeah. Well, they were only like $1.5 million off. Like they weren't that far apart.
Like you're not going to give Marchand a raise. You're rebuilding anyways. You have the cap space. Space. Like, yeah, that was a shocker to me, dude. I hate seeing guys treated that way. Like the Stamkos situation is a bit different because Tampa's still contending.
Yes.
Whereas Marchand, it's like, why couldn't you just give him $1 million extra bucks?
Yeah, especially if he wants to stay.
Yeah. Crazy one to me. Another big trade here where I think Toronto gave up way too much.
Yeah.
A conditional 1st, Fraser Minton, and a 4th for the to the Boston Bruins for Brandon Carlo. And Carlo is a great defenseman, great ads. Boston's also retaining 15% of his salary, and I think he might have a little bit of term. I could be wrong there.
Oh, okay. And it's a protected top 5 pick, but that's basically means nothing. Like from the Leafs, like that won't be, that'll stick.
Yeah, so Carlo's got 2 years left after this year. He's in year 4 of 6. He's making 4.1, and then Boston's retaining 15% of that. So I like that for Toronto. But to give up a 1st round pick again, and then like Fraser Minton, well, he's a good prospect. I think he's a very overrated prospect. I like him, BC kid, really, really like his game. But guys were acting like captain of Team Canada, the World Juniors. But guys were acting like he was going to be like a star. I think he projects as a bottom 6 forward, a good bottom 6 forward.
Wow.
So I don't hate it, but another 1st given up. And Minton along with that, I think was just too much for Brandon Carlo. I think they overpaid, but at the same time, Toronto's got a really legit looking team right now.
They do look good. Just to lose in the 1st round.
Yeah. We'll skip over this random Shea Weber trade. That's not worth
the salary dump.
Yeah, that was weird. Henry Okaru to the Boston Bruins for a 4th-round pick. He said he was very happy to get out of Buffalo, but kind of a nothing burger there.
Yeah.
This one, another trade I love for Ottawa. Fabian Zetterlund and Tristan Robbins and a 4th-round pick from the San Jose Sharks for Noah Gregor, Zach Ostapchuk, and a second. Ostapchuk, I believe, is a 2nd-round pick himself. So San Jose, good asset management. They get 2 seconds. But, Zetterlund, I think, is a great ad for Ottawa when making this playoff push. I think he's a really underrated player. And for being stuck in San Jose, he made the most of it. He did a pretty good job there. But yeah, San Jose, I mean, I still like those ads for them.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, and then moving on, Pittsburgh picks up Connor Dwyer and Connor Timmins, 2 guys who I think are both solid 2-way depth pieces for a 5th.
Yeah.
Need roster players, no problem with that.
Exactly.
Eric Branstrom gets traded for, I think, the 5th time this year from New York to Buffalo for Nicholas Aube-Kubel. Skip over that. Eric Johnson back to the Colorado Avalanche for Giovanni Smith. Love that trade for Colorado. Love seeing EJ back there, and I hope they can get him another cup.
Yes.
And Nashville gets a 5th for Mark Jankowski, who's sent to Carolina. Scored 2 goals in his first game for Carolina, which is pretty funny.
Wow.
Remember him on Pittsburgh? How bad he was. Like,
that was bad.
But yeah, I mean, I guess a depth piece for Carolina. I don't think he's that good, but he had 2 goals in his first game.
Yeah.
And then Seattle trades Daniel Sprong to New Jersey for a 7th, and that is pretty much all that's worth noting. I think Sprong's just been ripping up the minors, so. Yeah, man. But I don't know. What was your? Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying, very active trade deadline. Like lots of moves.
Yeah, for sure. It was a really entertaining one. I think that the trade deadline's gotten a little stale over the last few years, and it's not actually last year's was good too, but it's great. It's great to see the NHL having like more storylines and more big moves. I love to see it. It's nice just to create more buzz around the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun. Well, they had to do something to rival with like the NBA's trade deadline, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, man. Anyway, so I guess that's a pretty good recap of that. I don't know. Is there something I kind of want to do? Actually, we might, if we have some time, we can talk about some of the extensions signed, but there's not a ton to note there. Okay. I want to hear your playoff picks. If you can make those for me real quick.
Yeah. Are we just how they are right now, or can I do like who I'm thinking's making it in?
Yeah, like just give me your predictions, your 1 to 8 in the West and in the East.
Okay. Winnipeg's ran away with it in the West.
Okay, so like the 1 seed?
Yes, yeah. I think 1, 2, 3 are all in the Central. I think Colorado with their pickups and Dallas with their pickups. I think they finish 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
And then I think it's going to stay pretty similar. Like I think it's going to go Vegas in the 4, Edmonton in the 5, LA in the 6, Minnesota in the 7, and then I'm going to put Vancouver in the 8.
Okay, I like it.
And then in the East, Washington ran away with that. I think 2, 3, and 4 are all going to be Florida, Toronto, Tampa in any iteration. I think Carolina finishes, would that be 5th? I think Carolina finishes 5th. I think Ottawa moves into 6th. Ottawa would be in the Atlantic, right?
No, they're in the Atlantic. So
yes,
the highest they can finish is 7th unless they bump up Tampa.
Sorry. Yes, yeah, sorry. Okay, so they'll finish in the 7th, and then I think Columbus holds on to that last spot. I hope they do. Because I would take Columbus over Washington.
Wait, so who's 3rd in the Metro? New Jersey?
Yes, yeah, I think that stays.
Okay, gotcha. Mm-hmm. No, I like that. I think those are very realistic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I like that.
Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna have Toronto finishing ahead of Florida just with Florida's injuries.
Yeah.
Sorry, 1 sec. So yeah, I'll go Toronto, and then I think Florida probably. Mm-hmm.
Well, no, sorry. I guess Toronto would be 2. Washington would be 1.
Mm-hmm.
Florida 3rd. Probably, yeah, Tampa 4th. Yeah, and then like Carolina 5th. New Jersey 6th. And then when it comes to the playoffs, dude, you have no idea how bad. I don't. Well, okay, sorry. Ottawa gets in.
Yeah.
For the 8s, you've no idea how bad I don't want this to happen, but I just have a feeling that the New York Rangers are going to get the 8th seed.
I could see it. Yeah, I know. I don't want it to happen, but I think it will.
I so badly don't want it to happen.
No.
But I do think it will happen, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
As for the West, I think, who's catching Winnipeg? Nobody.
Mm-hmm. No.
Dallas as well, Colorado, like same 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
As for the Pacific, I think Edmonton will catch Vegas, honestly.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I just, with the additions they made, and like LA's right there too, so like the same top 3, and then this is hard again. Like Minnesota gets in,
mm-hmm.
And then for the 8 seed, it's like is it going to be St. Louis, Utah, Vancouver, or Calgary?
I feel like you can't count out the Ducks yet. I don't think that you can count them out.
Dude, they're like as far back as the Penguins.
Exactly, and you weren't counting.
They're winning right. They're winning right now, though, aren't they? The Ducks. Oh no, they're losing. So. They were winning. They're losing to Washington. They were winning though. I'll have some fun with this. I'm gonna say that the Utah Hockey Club ends up sneaking in because I had them making the playoffs at the start of the year. So I'm gonna go with Utah as the 8. Okay. I want it to be Vancouver, but I think Vancouver's done. Yeah. I think they're done.
They're getting. What's the score in their game right now? Are they getting? Oh, they're getting galloped. It's not even.
Who, Vancouver or Utah?
Yeah, no, Vancouver's.
Yeah, 3-0 still against Montreal. Great, hurting the Penguins and hurting Vancouver in one go. Thanks, Montreal.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. You got any major hot takes for the NHL for the rest of the year here? Like any crazy things you've? Sorry.
Yeah.
I need your cup prediction first. And then give me some hot takes.
Florida. I'm going back to Florida for the back-to-back.
Okay.
Yeah. Hot take would be that that if Columbus stays in, they knock out Washington. I'm not high on Washington. I'm not high on Washington. I'm not sold.
I'm high on Washington, and I still love that take. Wow, I love that, dude.
And then another one. If Edmonton and LA stay in their spots, I would take LA, which isn't too hot by any means, but I think I'd take LA over Edmonton. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a hot take, dude. I wouldn't do that.
Right. I don't know. That's just where. Yeah, I'm not sold on Edmonton. I know McDavid's been struggling recently since he's been back, but
fair enough.
I don't know. I think the goaltending issue could come into factor again. Yeah. I guess Edmonton got a bunch of experience in playoffs last year, but LA got a round in, so yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, well, I'd be a Colorado Florida final, I think
That's funny. I was just gonna say my cup pick is Colorado.
Okay.
I think they're getting back there. So we're pretty similar on the same page there.
Okay.
As for any other hot takes, I mean, I think having the Rangers make the playoffs is a hot take, to be honest, in itself. And I don't know. I think if Colorado and Dallas play, I think Colorado's going to sweep them. There's my hot take.
Okay.
And I think Carolina. I mean, if they're playing the Devils, I think they'll definitely win that series. But I think I have Carolina going far.
Really?
And I think Stankoven's going to light it up. There's my takes.
There's
my hot takes.
I like the Carolina pick.
Thank you. But maybe just a couple. I'll go over just a couple extensions quick now because we got a few minutes, and then we'll finish up. Probably just recapping the playoffs in the junior leagues here.
Okay.
So as for extensions, oh man, we haven't talked extensions in a long time either. I think the last one we mentioned was Kevin Lankinen's. No, we haven't even mentioned Lankinen's. So Lankinen signs a 5x4.5 with Vancouver. One thing I want to ask you is, what does this mean for Thatcher Demko?
Don't want to say Demko's gone, but I think that's what that means. Like,
it's just a Band-Aid. It sucks.
Well, exactly.
He's so good.
He's so good. But I think, Lankinen's played solid this year. I think
he's earned it.
Exactly. It's hard to be mad at that by any means. Yeah. I don't know. I'm fine with it. Just kind of sucks to bite the bullet and accept that Demko probably is gone.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I agree. Another one here. Vladislav Nemesnikov signs a 2-year, $3 million extension with Winnipeg. Love that.
Yeah.
Charlie, this one I was a bit puzzled by. Charlie Lindgren signs a 3-year, $3 million per year extension with the Washington Capitals, I guess to be their backup because Logan Thompson is clearly the starter.
Yes. So, yeah.
Oli Mata signs a 3x3.5 with Utah Hockey Club. So overpaid. Apparently he's actually kind of good now, but I'm just so bitter about how bad he was in Pittsburgh. This one, I really just like noble of this guy. Jake Evans signs a 4-year, $2.85 million extension. Apparently he could have gotten up to $4 million per year in free agency. So just props to him for sticking with Montreal and wanting to play there. I love to see that in guys. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Florida extends Jesper Boqvist for 2 years at 1.5. Mm-hmm. This one, the toughest guy in the NHL, in my opinion, definitely the best fighter. Matthew Olivier signs a 6x3 with Columbus, so long-term, low cap, which I'm not really a fan of for depth guys, but he's had such a good year. Like, he's actually been scoring a lot, too, for a tough guy. He just beats up everyone. So I like that. Jordan Greenway signs a 2-year by $4 million per year. I think that's a little much for him, but at the same time, I think he's a solid player, a bit underrated, and hopefully he'll keep contributing to Buffalo. Clearly wants to be there. Mm-hmm. Ian Cole extends with Utah, but 1x3. Alex Kerfoot extends with Utah 1x3. He's 30 now. That's crazy. Yeah. And Karl Vejmelka, who I think is a very, very, very good underrated goalie, signs a 5x4.75 with Utah. So love that extension. And the other ones, I mean, 1 year extensions, low risk. I like it for Utah. I think they're starting to build a solid foundation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're coming around.
Yeah, so these ones are a little more major here. Jason Zucker signs a 2-year, 4.75 to stay in Buffalo. He's done really well in Buffalo since getting there. 33 years old. I thought he was a guy they were just going to flip at the deadline, but clearly he wants to be there. I miss him in Pittsburgh. I really liked Zucker, man.
He was awesome.
Jonathan Kovacevic, who was kind of like, I can't remember if he was a throw-in in a trade or like a random signing by New Jersey, signs a 5x4 with them. And it's like, again, you got Dougie Hamilton. Mm-hmm. You got Jonas, is it Siegenthaler? Who's the other guy on the right side there? New Jersey shit. Anyways, my point is, forget who it is. My point is, this is another guy who's blocking Nemec and Casey from making the NHL. I don't really know what they're thinking there.
No.
Kovacevic is good, but I think this is a guy who could have been flipped for some decent assets rather than signed, and you could have brought those young guys up and gotten them in there. But
yeah,
at the same time, this is a guy who wasn't making much in Montreal, and he's really earned a big contract. So you love to see that, and props to him. Mm-hmm. Mikko Rantanen signs an 8x12 with Dallas. Obviously, that was part of the trade to Dallas was they had to agree on a contract, and he takes less than apparently he was offered in Colorado and Carolina. So very interesting there.
That's really weird.
Super weird.
Well, he went. I saw the thing. I think it was Carolina's coach that basically said he came in and said he wasn't playing. Or
exactly.
There was
I think it was Rob Brind'Amour. I think it was the coach.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Which that was good that didn't get released before the trade. Like,
honestly.
You heard nothing about that before the trade happened, which would have given Dallas so much leverage.
Well, yeah, any team who's trying, because apparently like Toronto offered or Carolina asked for Marner, and Marner refused to waive his no trade, and like Toronto was willing. Apparently Edmonton was trying to do it, but just didn't have the assets. Like,
no, yeah. What
so
would
it's interesting.
Edmonton even give?
No, Savoy would have had to be a part of it, but even that's not enough. They would have needed more.
Checking Bouchard in that? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
It just destroy your decor that you don't have.
One more signing. Wyatt Johnson signs 5 years by 8.4 with Dallas. Well deserved. Yeah. Surprised he didn't get more term, but with the cap going up, I think this is a good deal for both parties.
Yes,
and that's it for the signings in the NHL. Not much else there, but I guess real quick before we wrap up here, buddy, we'll just get into the PIJ. So, Ridge Meadows looks like they will be sweeping the Chilliwack Jets. They are up 5-2 with 8 minutes left in the third period.
Yeah.
So, the finals in the PIJ may have started by the time this is released, but as of right now, Ridge is about to finish off Chilliwack.
And it's 2-2
unless something crazy happens.
Yes.
2-2. I see 2-1.
Oh, yeah, no, 2-2.
Oh, Richmond just tied it.
Yeah, 2-2, end of the second.
Okay, so I was with third. So Richmond just scored with 40 seconds left in the period to tie the game.
Yeah.
And the goal before, dude, it was the same kid. It was Nathan Gray, the 16-year-old defenseman. Maybe 17, sorry.
Wow.
But he's a Swift Current Broncos draft pick. He scored 2 goals within a minute and a half to tie the game.
Wow. That's awesome.
So Richmond not done yet, and Max Powell looking like he's having another good game back there for them. So love to see it from Max. And so I was expecting before 3 minutes ago, I was expecting to say like it looks like Delta's going up 3-0, but who knows now what's going to happen there. So I just want to see a competitive series. I'm not really cheering for either side. But that'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on. So that's it for the PIJ for now. Like we mentioned earlier, the KI won't be starting for another 3 days. So nothing to say for that. We'll recap that as soon as we can in the future here. As for the VI, Peninsula and Kerry Park are tied 4-4 at the end of the second period in game 1. So it's a barn burner so far. Jeez. That's a crazy one, and like it looks like eight different goal scorers as well.
Wow,
in that game so far. So, like a few guys have multiple points. Like it looks like Brody Lindahl has 3 points. On Kerry Park, Bryce Burnett's got a couple, and on Peninsula, Brendan Williams has 2 goals on Peninsula. My bad, but 7 different goal scorers. So still,
wow, that's crazy.
Surprising. Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of, that game. What's the other one? Port Alberni is down 1-0 to Campbell River at the end of the second. So both of those games still have a period left to go.
Joe's not going to like that.
Joe's not going to like that. But two very different stories there. Very low scoring and very high scoring affairs. But yeah, that's it. That's it for this episode, Chenier. Thank you so much, buddy. Really appreciate you coming on. You did a great job as a guest host, and it was nice to just chat with you and have you back on the pod.
Yeah, it was good catching up, man. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thanks, buddy. So everyone, thank you very much for listening. If you haven't already, please be sure to download this episode, download and stream our past episodes too. We had some great ones. Our last episode with Cage Star was an all-timer. What an interview, what a character. As well as our last few rumor episodes have been unreal. So we're excited for the future here to keep covering the playoffs. And just please be sure to share, follow the social media, rate the pod if you haven't already, and keep downloading and listening. We appreciate you guys and all the listens. So thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.